Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. We have a great show for you today. We have Lily Greenhall and Hannah Buckner, who are the co-owners of Level Cola, which is a new boutique fitness studio on Forest Drive near South State Bank. We talk about all things, diving into how they started it, some of the things that they learned from it, and then where it's going now. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom, as always, and we are Columbia's hottest and fastest growing podcast. And we have two guests today. We have Hannah Buckner and Lily Greenhall. Lily Greenhall with Level Fitness. And you're one of the newer Pilates studios in Divine area, newish.
Well, Pilates, Legree, and yoga.
Yes. So you're what's that category? Is there a category for all three?
I mean, I would say like we're core centered, low impact.
No one's gonna hear you if you're way back there.
I knew he was gonna do it.
Yeah, he told me you were gonna do
like
this.
2 feet from the mic.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to be too loud. I'm a loud person.
All right, so you're low impact.
Low impact,
fitness.
core centered.
Yeah.
Low impact.
The
core-centered
lengthening, toning
fitness.
type of
I'm gonna write that
workouts.
down.
Yeah, you're not gonna find like weights in our studio.
Okay.
You know,
Body weights.
not
Body
there.
weight. That's it.
Well,
And-
no,
The
spring-based
spring-based
resistance.
resistance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us how you got into this with
Okay.
all the juicy details.
Okay, so I can give a little bit of mine, and then you can give a little bit of
Okay.
yours.
And how we linked.
Yeah, how we linked. So I was training at Jamie Scott Fitness. Just got into it. A friend kind of encouraged me to go. And I started taking cycling classes and weight training classes. And I was like, this is fun. I love it. Cycle classes aren't like really doing it for me. And I reached out to their manager and I was like, I want the cycle classes to be better. And she was like, why don't you try to do it? And so I tried. And it was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Humbling.
Which, by the way, for anyone listening, anytime someone comes to the owner or the manager and says, I want this to be better, normally their response is, okay, make it better. And most of the time, the employee's response is like, no, I don't want to do any extra work. I want you to do all the work and make it better.
Yeah,
So
well,
that's
I was just a
I commend you
client.
for
I was
just
a
taking out.
client
Oh, you were a
then.
client.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even way different.
But I was a
You
school
figured it
teacher,
out.
so I was working out at like 5 a.m, and then I was teaching school in Sumter, and I would drive to Sumter
Wow.
after working out. Looking back now, I'm like,
What were
that's
you doing?
insane.
Yeah,
I
that
had
is
so much
a lot.
energy then. And so I went through the audition process and trained and put myself out there, and I became a cycle instructor, and I loved it. And then Jamie came to me and he was like, hey, I want to start offering yoga. And I said, yeah, I loved yoga. I was going to Yoga Masala. Rest in peace. Miss you guys. And he was like, you should get trained to teach yoga. And so I went off to Asheville Yoga Center and stayed up there for a whole summer and did an immersion and loved it. Fell in love with yoga. I was teaching cycle. I was teaching yoga. I was hopping around town taking yoga classes. I was going to Bikram. And that's where I saw Lily. The first thing I said to her, y'all, was, I said, I read your bio. And she was like, okay.
Wait, the first time.
Creep.
The first thing she said to me when she walked, I was checking people in. I read your bio. Like, no
That's
one's
how
ever
you know.
said that before.
Like, when you take fitness classes, do you read the instructor's bio?
No.
I always do. But I don't
That's exactly
lead.
our-
but I don't
That's our
lead.
personality.
I don't lead with telling them I read
Yeah.
your bio.
You want to know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll say something off-putting that I know about them.
Yeah.
Just like
I want to know their
should
credentials, you know? And I was like, you trained at Asheville Yoga Center, and so did I. She didn't really seem that interested. She kind of shut me down.
Oh yeah.
But then I had actually, when I was first starting at Jamie Scott, I had started taking Pilates reformer privates from Karis. She was working at Jamie Scott then too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Jamie Scott. All roads
Yeah.
lead back to
And
Jamie
And you know,
Scott.
Scott.
I'm so close
He's
to Jamie.
great.
I love him very much. He trained my husband in high school football.
Yeah.
So they're pretty tight.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfcforhealth.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's CFC forhealth.com.
But so then she reached out to me and was like, hey, I want you to come teach me yoga private. And I was like, do you? You know, because she had opened up Sunnyside at that point.
Yeah.
And I went there. She kept asking me, and I was like, okay, I'll come. And I told my husband, I was like, I think she's going to ask me to come work there. I don't know what I'm going to do, because I knew that when she left Jamie Scott, it wasn't as beautiful of an exit, you know? I don't know. I try not to stay out of that. So I went, and I gave her yoga private, and then she was like, hey, I'm going to open up a Legree studio, and I want you to come work at it. I want you to come do this training, blah, blah, blah. And so I talked to Jamie, I talked to Danny, and they were all like, yeah, you know, you can do it. Just, you know, be careful and be honest.
Right.
I think that in this industry, like, the biggest thing is to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was honest with everybody, and then we trained together there.
Mm-hmm.
So you were still working at Jamie Scott, but
Yeah,
then
he
went
was
and
like,
worked
you can stay
part-time.
here. And even when we opened level, he was like, you can stay here forever. Like, teach for me as long as you want. I'm always just really honest. The day that we had told people we were opening level, Jamie I think he was in Italy or France or something. And I called him, and he wasn't answering. I was like, I need you to pick up your phone.
This is important.
It's
Because
3 a.m. here.
I was like, I don't want you to find out on social media. So, like, please answer. And yeah, Lily, you can tell. And then
My
we can
side?
get to where we
Yes.
were
The
together.
merge, yeah.
The merge.
I came into fitness first through yoga. My mom and my grandma actually are both yoga instructors. And
Your
my
grandma?
my mom owned a studio in Chapin, and my mom was a professional like dancer, like ballerina, worked at Disney, all of that. So she got
Wow.
into fitness a long time
Nice.
ago, worked we used to live in New York, and she did what is now considered bar, like all of the bar methods,
Right.
taught that like way at the beginning of bar becoming a thing in New York. So her studio had bar and yoga of different varieties. I was going through kind of a career shift, and both my parents were like, hey, we're going to send you to yoga training in Nashville. So I did the same type of program that Hannah did in Nashville Yoga Center.
Which, can you expand on that? Because
Yeah.
I would love to go do an immersion, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
scared.
amazing.
I'm terrified.
So it's a 3-week long, you live there, 3-week long program. Your first yoga training is typically 200 hours. If it's not, then like probably you should pick a different one.
So like 60 hours a week,
60 hours.
65 hours a week for 3 weeks.
It was just,
It was-
like we were there.
It was Monday
crack of
through
dawn to night.
Friday all day, like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We would get an hour for lunch.
Okay.
And then we would come back for a half day on Sunday. Then you also have to do extra classes while you're there. Like you have to go take classes. So in the evening, when you would be done at 5, you would then go and take another class.
Got it.
On Saturdays when you would have day off, like we had to do multiple book reports, and we had multiple like exams, like anatomy exams and stuff that we had to do at the end. So you basically got Saturday off to like study and take other classes.
Yeah.
Before you go, you have to observe an X amount of classes. You have to take X amount of classes. And then after, you had to also, I think, teach X amount of classes, submit, and then they give you your certification. So it's like a pretty substantial amount of work that you're
Right.
investing.
Yeah.
It's 200 hours of like physical in-person, one-on-one, or not one-on-one, but like instructor group
Yeah.
training you.
And what's the women to male to female ratio?
My group, I think we had like 27 people go through in my training, and probably like 7 of the 20, maybe 8 of the 20 were guys.
Guys,
hmm
Mine, all chicks.
was it?
Mm-hmm.
We had like
Nice.
a super diverse group, my training, which was great.
Yeah, a
But
male.
they're doing this a lot. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they are rolling out
Every
trainings
3
there.
weeks, just a new.
Every month, pretty
Crop.
much, they have a new.
Mhm.
And you can also
Wow.
do a training like one weekend a month for 9 months if you can't go and like live there and experience it all at one time. Some people that really works better for, like my mom and my grandma both did that because my mom had like kids and she couldn't just like
Yeah.
up and leave for
Yeah.
a month. But being able to do the immersion, I think you're able to, they ask you to like not drink and try
I was
to
gonna
eat
wonder,
like
yeah.
vegetarian lifestyle and live all of the like yogi principles, try to implement them as much as you can while you're there. It's a little easier to do that when you're in a bubble of just people
Yeah.
like-minded going through this experience with
No,
you.
no cell phones. Like, you're
Yeah.
super strict about
Wow.
it.
Yeah, you can't have your phones in the
That's
room.
cool.
I didn't have kids then.
I was gonna say, like, yeah, there's not much you can do without. If you have kids, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unless they're older.
It'd be really hard to do that 3-week.
Was there a big
Intensive.
spiritual component to this whole thing?
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, what kind of stuff are they getting into?
Well, you just go through like the very beginning of yoga all the way through. Yoga is not, it's attached to Hinduism, but it's not the same thing. You kind of learn a lot about the history of religion just in general because it dates back farther than
Yeah.
anything else that is currently being practiced. So that's kind of cool to then be able to see that and see how it translates to pretty much every religion and also every style of fitness that's currently out there. Like
Well-
everything taps back into yoga if you know enough about yoga to realize it.
So is this true then? I thought yoga was like why I think a lot of people are anti, like if they're really religious, that they were,
Mhm.
yoga was designed as like a sexual
No.
fantasy thing.
Mhm.
It's not.
So my mom's studio in Chapin.
I always thought it was a spiritual. I always thought it was like
I
a
thought it was
spiritual,
okay.
quote unquote, new age.
You weren't ready for that?
He's been like
And I'm not-
Thought where he was
watching
going.
being serious.
documentaries or
So
something.
People like, okay,
if we
so
trace back the history, it wasn't
No.
like a okay.
Mm-mm.
it was
maybe not
made-
that immersion. It was a
Yeah.
different immersion.
they don't go through that with us.
You're thinking Karma Sutra.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it's a different thing.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm not saying you
separate.
can't like tap into those aspects. And if you take certain people's classes, probably not in Columbia or in South Carolina, they might talk a little bit more about things
side of
that,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, that's not how it was started. And that's not what we really like dove into at training. A little more based on the anatomy and history.
yeah.
But yes, my mom's studio in Chapin, they had a lot of people. Like I was teaching a class and this woman brought something and like stuck it on the door saying that we were like
Yeah.
anti-Christian.
Yes.
And there was, my mom's studio had like a cross in the front yard, like very much Christian based and
Right.
linked classes back with like the Bible. And
Right,
not that
right,
every
right.
studio has to be that way, but
I mean, when
Yeah, some
yoga
people
came
definitely
to the
don't
States,
enjoy
like,
it like that.
things changed.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not anything like it
Gotcha,
was at
definitely.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part of the training too, is learning about the history of it. And it's Americanized. And it's
Almost like acupuncture, what's now dry needling in the
Mhm,
Western
mhm,
world,
yeah.
where there's
Yeah.
not meridians and chi. It's just straight up. Where's your scar tissue? Here we go.
Mhm.
Let's deal with it.
Exactly. But yes, I went through training. I actually needed to have back surgery when I was going through training. I tried to push my training and they were like, no, we suggest that you like come anyways and do what you can. So I finished
What?
training.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they basically wanted me to like
You-
come and learn it anyways.
While
Mhm.
right after you had back surgery?
Right, I
Before.
needed it.
Right before.
So right before.
Okay, I see.
Like I can't do a lot of this. So I went anyways, and it was probably the best thing I could have done because I was given a lot more help with how to then help other people with back problems.
Right.
And I couldn't physically do a lot, so I had to really learn how to verbalize cues and got really good at teaching. Which I think when people go through trainings is one of they like are really good at doing it and they're not always good at teaching it. And I was the flip. So I did the training, finished, had back surgery, couldn't do a lot of anything. So I like slowly started getting into teaching, could teach and couldn't do it. I had been a member client at Bikram. So had my mom since day one. So eventually Lacey reached out, asked if my mom and I would be interested in doing their torch bar training. We did that training together. I started working the desk for her on the weekends, eventually started teaching, started managing, was doing that kind of full time. I had done private Pilates at Victoria Pilates Bodies, Victoria on Main Street when I had had my back surgery. So when Karis opened, it was around the corner. I started being a client at Sunnyside. Really liked it, wanted to get more involved in that because I couldn't get enough hours at Bikram just only teaching there. Karis approached me about a Pilates training. COVID happened. That training didn't happen. And then circled back through end of training. She was like, hey, we're going to open a Legree studio. Are you interested in this? And at first I was like, not particularly. Like I wanted to do Pilates. But I decided to go for it.
And that's when we
that's
like
how
really
we-
met.
yeah.
Besides me reading her bio,
Mhm.
Can you explain Legree and Pilates difference?
Absolutely.
oh, we loved.
We love to
explaining that.
explain that.
Yeah.
You want to take that?
Do you do that every day?
Every day.
You can go
All
ahead,
day, every
totally.
day.
You can go ahead.
Well, traditionally, so Pilates has been around for a long time. Not as long as yoga, but longer than Legree.
Rest in peace, Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph's dead.
So Joseph has passed. It is a low intensity, low impact style of working out that really is more based on spinal health and core like stability. So everything that you do is going to be healthy spine, healthy core. And one of his more famous quotes is like, you're only as healthy as your spine is flexible.
Love
So,
that. We
love
love
that.
that.
Yeah, we do love that.
Yeah. So that's kind of where Pilates differs. So it stays typically low impact, low intensity. Legree, Sebastian Legree, is very much alive. He just turned 50 this year. This is like a
Young guy.
new living
Wow.
method.
How's he looking?
He looks great.
He looks great.
Does he?
Yeah,
He does.
He's
He's
so-
like jacked. He was teaching Pilates and noticed that people would take Pilates and then go and work out in a gym because it had both. And he eventually asked them like why they were leaving his workout to go do more. And they're like, well, this is really great, but I also want more. I want to sweat. I want to boost my heart rate. And that was when he decided to take the low impact aspect of Pilates, but make it high intensity. And then Legree was born. So it's a high intensity, low impact. It keeps the springs like Pilates, but it is, if you do it, you can pretty much tell the difference in the first move.
Yeah, if you were to like come to our studio and take have a reformer classes, just 4 people, classical, the classical routine on the reformer, your heart rate's not really going to get up. But you come and take like a level 1 Legree class, you're going to be covered in sweat. You're going to be gassed. Like there's a platform at the front, platform at the back, a huge carriage. The transitions are really fast, but the tempo is really slow. Whereas in Pilates, you're just counting reps. You're moving with your breath. In Legree, you're against the clock. You could be in a lunge with different variations for 8 minutes and your heart would be pounding.
Wow.
It's a long time to be in a lunge.
It
is.
is. And
We spice it up.
yeah, we do spice it up. You don't get bored. You don't get bored at all.
No.
And even though you're moving slow, you would think that'll be so boring, but it's not because it's just so intense and the whole
Right.
group is moving that slowly and it's really fun. We both fell in love with Legree.
Yeah.
And
What does one practice before going in to not look like an idiot? Because those are the movements that I just cannot do, like the holds.
yeah,
Just jump in both feet.
you just show up 10 minutes early, tell the instructor.
But is it weird after like 10 seconds you like collapse and you're like my
You would be
legs
fine.
spasming?
You
and
wouldn't. You
You'd be
wouldn't.
fine.
I'm not talking like tired. I'm talking my leg does like just cramps.
Yeah. Do you eat bananas?
Yeah. Not enough.
Do you
Like-
have a nutritionist?
Not enough.
I feel like that's very
like
hard
have drink some water
But-
and have half
So
a banana.
but
and
should I do like wall
put
squats
on your
at
sticky
home?
socks? Like-
No,
No.
truly, I think there is nothing else that translates exactly to Legree. So it's better to just do it.
Yeah.
And it is. I
Mhm.
mean, the first couple times, actually, when we did our first training, I say training because it really wasn't a Legree training. It was just
Mhm.
kind of that's something we don't have to dive into. But our first training, I had just found out I was pregnant with my now almost 3-year-old, and I couldn't tell anyone. I mean, I could, but I wasn't at the point where I was
Right.
telling people.
New,
And I was, new. And I was, it was so hard to stay when we were learning that. I mean, for all of us, when you first do a Legree workout, it's so hard to maintain. But once you get it down, you're like, damn, this is awesome.
And it's like endurance muscles then is
Yes.
what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
It's targeting the slow twitch muscles. So ideally, you do find the muscles that are going to make you shake, and then you're trying to fight to stay in the move while you're shaking, which will then make you use your core even more for the stability.
Is it so there's a lot of mindset in this too?
Oh
though?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of battling your leg cramping and falling.
It's like, I always say in class, get uncomfortable and get
Mhm.
through
Right.
being uncomfortable because that's what life's about too,
Yeah.
You get uncomfortable and you got to get through it. And you're like, I did that. I got through something really uncomfortable and now I'm stronger. I'm better mentally and physically.
So then you guys get together, you guys decide we're going to open up one of these.
Well, I mean, we worked
All the time.
all the time.
And you were both. It sounds like you were both. So you were at the yoga studio and at workout, and then you were at workout and Jamie Scott. You were at like 2 different places at a
She
time.
ended up
both of you.
I
leaving.
was asked to leave the day that the training ended. So I actually never cross-pollinated. The training ended, and that was my last day at Bikram.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just went full force at the workout
Was it a shock to you?
to leave Bikram. Yeah.
Was it?
Mhm.
And it was because of working at the other place.
It was actually about my mom's studio in Chapin.
Oh, family
Bad blood,
drama.
little Taylor Swift bad
Wow.
blood here.
Again, it just, we don't have to dive into this stuff,
Yeah.
but it just goes back to like everybody being open and honest and
Yeah.
saying what they're doing. And sometimes like it doesn't work out. Sometimes you say, if you're going to do that, it's probably best for us to go our separate ways.
Yeah.
I always want. I mean, there's a lot of boutique fitness in Columbia,
For sure.
and I feel like you guys all know each other at some level, whether you work together or
Yeah.
worked out together,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that stuff. What is that like? Seeing each like people that are in that space outside of that space. Like, say you're at Trader Joe's
Mhm.
Mhm.
or the spiritual shop, and you guys are getting incense.
He doesn't know us.
No burning incense over here, but
Is it weird? Like, is there communication? Is there talking? I mean, I'm sure there's some that's
Oh,
kosher,
I
some
say hey
that's
to everybody.
yeah,
You know,
interactions are different with every person.
yeah.
Yeah.
but,
But we have friends at every studio. I mean, my roommate works at Bikram. So like,
Yeah.
you know, we talk to each other. But I think every person, it's a two-way street. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. How did you guys decide on the branding?
Well, wait,
Or-
we have to keep going. You
Oh,
got
yeah.
asked to leave Bikram.
Lord.
Randy wants to.
He
know
wants
this.
to learn.
Yeah,
He
he
wants
was trying
to
to
learn.
avoid, but
All right, I'll
I
come
need to
back
know the story.
branding.
So then we were okay. So I like went back and forth. I was a school teacher for 11 years, and I directed plays. I taught yoga at school. I taught writing, and I like left teaching school and went full time fitness. And I was teaching for Jamie. I was teaching for Karis. Was just teaching all the time. And then I got pregnant with my second, and Sandhills, where I had been directing plays, was like, come back and direct some plays. And I was like, no, that's way too many hats. And then they were like, please, please come back. And they really
Like a Christmas play.
What kind of play? Like,
Oh man,
puppet shows.
I actually like wrote plays, and
Puppet
we
shows?
would win. Yeah, no puppet
No
shows.
puppet shows?
No puppet shows. Was a theater minor at Wofford College. I actually dropped out of my playwriting class. So
really?
stick it to the man. I write plays now. But we would compete in the SCISA Independent School Association one act competitions. It was really fun. I love directing plays, but it was a lot of it like teach fitness, and then I would go direct plays, and I would go home and be mom, and I would teach fitness again at 5
Right.
a.m. And it was also the laundry. I was like constantly changing clothes. So I was doing all of that. And then I decided I got to just do full-time fitness. And I talked to my husband, and I was like, maybe I'll just teach school just part-time and then teach a fitness class every now and then. He's like, no, you're so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And then I guess this goes into
Actually,
your question.
like shout out really to her husband, Danny, because he is the one that like pushed
Danny
us
B?
into this. Mhm,
Danny B, yeah.
Yeah.
We would be sitting at my island back when we were just trainers.
Doing
and
our
we would,
thing.
yeah, doing our thing, drinking rosé, and we'd be
Yeah.
like, one day we're gonna open up a fitness studio.
Danny B was seeing the vision and said, "Let's get
Oh,
this
yeah.
down on paper."
He
Massively.
like really saw the vision,
Really?
and he was like,
Nice.
"This has got to happen." And I was like, "I'm just gonna have another baby," and
Yeah.
Chill
and
back.
another
And
glass
he-
of rosé.
Those weren't necessarily linked at the same time.
not at the same time. And he sat me down and he was like, I think you guys should do this. I've run the numbers over
Yeah.
and over again. Like, I really think y'all should do this. And we had a lot of encouragement from our clients too,
Mhm. Yeah.
who really, I mean, we were teaching so many classes and our classes were full and our private clients were loving it. And, you know, when you're somewhere and you plateau, like, what's the next step?
Yeah.
And we've learned that from being at so many studios in Columbia. Like, if you have someone that's invaluable, you've got to find a permanent spot for them where they can keep growing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like make them a part of your business, because if the potential's there, they're going to bounce. And that's just what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and when we told Kara, she was like, I'm not surprised. So
Yeah.
here we are.
Okay.
So Danny was
And
like,
then it was
y'all
just
got to do
amicable from there. It was just a
Yeah,
nice
it-
conversation. Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised. Good for you guys.
And then it was done. I mean,
We're
Finish-
never-
finish out
we're
your
never
last 3
speaking
in
weeks.
her
again.
defense, we opened up a very like, it's not the same, but it offers
Fair.
very similar
Right.
products. Some
And
too.
fairly close.
Yeah,
Like, it's not like you moved to Sand Hills.
right. But we're in
We live
Forest
in-
Acres.
We'd
the
like
area.
one in Sand
I
Hills.
live on Brentwood. I have 2 small children.
Yeah.
We needed to be there.
Yeah.
Close. Yeah.
I like that.
But so Danny sat me down. He was like, this is the plan. Like, it's really good. And so I said, Lily, you want to go out to lunch? And didn't you
It
think
was
something
so
was wrong?
awkward. Yeah. She
Like
sends
a
me this
date?
like
He-
very
He schedules a date with Lily.
Yeah, but we
No.
used to hang out.
We used
we
to
still
hang-
hang out, but we used to like have more fun.
it was was just a very like proper text message about getting lunch, and I was like, something is weird about this.
Yeah.
Like
He was
"Hey,
real formal.
no, it was Hannah.
Oh.
Hannah said, "Are you like available to get lunch this week, possibly Friday? It's important or something."
And so I
It was
told
right
her,
before Christmas, like the week before Christmas.
and we're at the gourmet shop, and Lily's like shaking. She's like, "Are you sure?"
Well, it was I mean, we had these conversations, but just very much impassive. And then when we finally started to like really decide to move forward, we're extremely close with all of our clients. So it was like keeping this big secret from them when you normally share like so much about yourself, and kind of like we didn't tell our friends, our families. Like, I mean, I didn't tell my mom for months.
Jamie Scott didn't find out till after you were already open.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it wasn't.
But it
what-
was-
he
it was like
one
a
of the
huge
first people we
secret.
told,
In
but we
Italy.
couldn't tell anyone.
We didn't want it to like spiral
We
out.
and we didn't want to seem like we were poaching people.
Yeah,
You know.
we didn't
Yeah.
tell a single client until after we told Karis.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep it like as amicable as we could.
Yeah. Nice. So then you guys get it on paper and then you start talk. Can I get to branding now? Or
Oh yeah,
do we have
Oh,
any
yeah,
more-
yeah.
Is there any more tea?
probably.
No, I mean, there's
Probably come
always
back to
tea,
it.
but we're trying to eliminate it.
So you guys decide on how do you come up with the name Level?
Oh
Did
my
you-
gosh, we had a running list. Like when we back to the rose days, we called it TriFit Wellness, which is now our LLC.
Try Fit Wellness.
As a joke.
Yeah, we thought it was so good. And the next day we were
TRY or TRI?
TRI.
Yeah.
We have
TriFit.
3 types of
Oh,
fitness.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we were like, well, that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
So we had this
Doesn't
long
flow off the tongue.
list, and then we found out one of our now instructors was
Mhm.
at a Legree training or a class, and they were
Yeah,
like,
her level 1.
her level 1. They were like, Sebastian's thinking about starting pants that have levels on them, and level was on our list to level out your hips.
Oh.
Or a thing like body, like cues that you would say for people in
Yeah.
classes. And there's a studio that we love in Charleston called Form. So we didn't want to, steal theirs. There's studios called Posture. We were just trying to think of other names that went
Right.
along with
Yeah.
something that we cued during class, and level was one of them.
Cool.
And then Ashley brought up that they were thinking about putting in levels, like little,
Hip weights or something?
No,
not a
just
hip
like
weight,
a
just
line
like
so
when
you know
like a
it's
level you put on
crooked.
the wall to like
Oh,
level
yeah,
to
like-
hang something. The little strip, they were talking about putting those apparently like in the waistband so you could see in the mirror if your hips were not level or not.
Oh, with a bubble in the whole 9?
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
They haven't come out with it
You
yet.
want us to
but-
get you a pair if they come out?
I would love a pair.
And that was it. We were like, it's got to be that.
Yeah.
And then you go, because you could read that in the mirror, right? Is that why you guys did that?
No, when we were like, I just sent it to her and Danny in our little text the other day. I was playing around with it on Instagram
Yeah.
stories, like drawing things. We knew we wanted a triangle kind of thing. And then Lily flipped them. And then eventually we found out, there's a fishing rod,
Named
fishing
Level?
pole. They
No.
have the same thing. And
No.
it's my husband's favorite fishing rod line. I was like, you didn't pick
we
up
did
on
not
that?
know that.
He did. He's like, bro, this
We
is
tr-
really
like-
good.
I love the name Level.
I know. I was in his shop and I was like, dude, you didn't mention that?
It was too late. Like
it was
we
too
were
late.
too
we were
invested.
Yeah.
real deep, but we love it.
Yeah,
And I don't think
the
it's going
logo's
anywhere.
really cool.
Yeah, it's really awesome. My
Thank
friend
you.
Sally Nicholson, she went to grad school, graphic design. She helped us out.
Nice. It's kind of like your first, it's like your name. You can spell it forwards and backwards.
Mhm.
And yours, Lil.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna start calling
Yes,
her. Lil.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All
And we
right.
knew the colors of the
Oh,
yeah.
marketing.
Tap
a big
into
part,
Legree.
yeah, they tap into Legree. A big part of our studio that we wanted was education. We just found, and I've been really public about this on Instagram, that a lot of studios now offer in-house trainings, which is cool. And if that works for you, awesome. We wanted to really hone in on like the old, true to the method, like go down to it, classical Pilates, true yoga,
True Legree.
true Legree, evolving with it because Sebastian is constantly like doing different things to make the products better, to make the method better. So following that and staying up to date with it, he cues things he calls like a green line, knee over ankle, a blue line from the crown of your head all the way down to your knees. And we wanted those colors, silver angle, golden angle,
Mhm.
to all be a part of our studio.
So, do you guys talk to Sebastian ever?
Yeah.
Like, you do?
Yeah.
And he's still like innovating and making new
Oh,
stuff. Like,
all the time.
Yes. That's
You
like
would think
his
it's like-
favorite thing.
you would think there's only so many ways you can move the body.
He's just constantly looking for ways to make the workout more effective.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he pushes
still
it to his.
teaches.
Yeah, he does. Lily took his class a couple months ago.
Really?
Does
Is
he
he
do it
eccentric?
shirtless?
He's like
Same
so
question.
mellow when he's teaching. Like he's phenomenal. But when you would never know if you were just taking it. So he's in LA and he teaches at a studio in Brentwood. And my friend happens to live walking distance from the studio. And I'm like hyped about taking this class, and everybody else in there is just like, oh, it's just Sunday morning. Like we're just taking Sebastian's
Yeah.
class. He's just, if you talk to him about equipment, he like really gets
Geeks
into it.
out.
But teaching, he's very calm. The class is extremely challenging, but he like does not make you feel intimidated. It's awesome.
And he says the F word.
A lot.
Does he?
Like,
A
yes,
lot.
and I love
What's
that.
his ethnicity?
French.
Is he-
He's
oh, he's
French.
French.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nice.
Moved to LA to be an actor.
Okay.
Really? Is he? Is he a
Change
ladies?
the world instead.
Is he a ladies' man? Does he have a
He's divorced.
like a reputation as ladies' man? Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
nice.
know. We
So-
don't
I
know
don't know.
that reputation.
Yeah.
We just know that, the product and
You
the
just like what
method.
his professional.
I mean, well, the biggest
work.
thing that sold us on it, I'd been working out forever, and it's really hard to get a defined core. I
Yeah,
mean, would you guys agree?
extremely.
Oh God.
Yeah, so hard. And like I'm cycling, I'm lifting weights, I'm doing a million crunches, I'm doing a million planks, and like my core just looks the same. 3 months into doing Legree, like oblique lines, boom.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's the most transformative workout I've ever done.
Do you see people getting these machines at home ever, or no?
The micros, which we have 12 of, the micros are popular at home. It's just not this. It's not as nice.
Like, will there be a Peloton Pilates at some point where it's like
That is, I mean, they like massively grew during COVID. The
Yeah.
micro was already a thing. It just like wasn't as common. And then from what I understand, like they couldn't keep micros in stock during COVID because people shifted to
Scooping
having
up,
to work at
yeah.
home. But there is a big difference in taking a group class like in person and having the instructor push you. And that's why these big machines, which we waited 14 months to receive, were so worth it. The micros are amazing and they get the job done. But the Evo is like
Yeah.
no other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's something called Legree at Home, and one of our instructors, Julia, works for Legree at Home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Does Sebastian have a nice like voice, like instructor voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you guys? Do you guys work on that in the mirror? Do you or like practice different voices?
Well,
no,
I
I've
mean,
been teaching for so
yeah,
long.
it
This
just
is,
comes-
This is
Just
what you're going to
natural.
but you
get.
have to know, like, my yoga voice is going to be different than my cycle
Yeah.
voice. And same
Yeah.
with Legree, you have to really enunciate. And
Are
you're
you
talking
yelling
with-
ever? Are you guys yelling?
I'll call you out by first and last name.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Last name in
First
front of
and
everybody.
last. Yeah.
Oh God.
No,
Is there-
don't. If you're new, she
I won't do that
she
to
won't
you
do
if
that
you're
to you.
Day
But like
one.
sometimes there's people with the same names, like 3 Ashleys in class.
Right.
But no, normally, I mean, I've taught these people for a long time. So you get to know them really well.
Yeah.
You see somebody slacking and you know that it's not going to make them uncomfortable. And I'll call you out by first, last name.
Who's your best student right now?
Best student.
First and last name. They're gonna want to hear this show.
You know,
like group
Kendall
classes?
Britt just hit 100 classes and Hannah Bauer just hit 100 classes.
Yeah,
and we're
Kendall
very
started
proud of
coming
them.
to us right after having a baby, and
Mhm.
like she really dove in, and she, it's a nervous time. You just had a
Right.
baby. Your body's different. You've never done this workout before. She came in. We were in the dungeon, which I don't know if you guys
Is
know
that-
about the dungeon.
Well, yeah. Tell us about. Is that like kind of your
That was our
opening
temporary.
Yeah, so we
place.
temp space?
Mhm.
We didn't even looking back. We're like, what were we thinking? We didn't really have a plan. And I was so pregnant, or I just had Dawson. I don't even remember.
My anxiety was at a level 15 of 10.
I think I had already had him. Yeah. I just had my second baby. And then we let everyone know what we were doing. And we were just going to move. So we had already ordered just some Pilates equipment. We ordered our Legree equipment
Straight away.
straight away because it takes so long to get.
Which is how many? 8,
We have 10 Evo Megaformers.
10 megas.
Those aren't cheap.
They're not,
They're not cheap.
So you guys were pushing all your chips in right out of the gates.
We really put a lot of faith in Legree, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
in ourselves.
Yeah.
We would like write lists of like, how many people do we think are actually going to come with us?
Right.
I gotta
Name
make
by
this list.
name.
Yeah, and we would just write it out and write it out, and it's turned out to be great. But we were just going to move all of our Pilates equipment into a Airbnb. And
To start?
yeah,
Mhm.
and just us to like try to keep so our private clients could still get a good workout in because we knew a lot of them. I mean, they'd been training with us for 3+ years, and
Mhm.
you know, you get attached to your trainer. And that was our plan. And then the day that it happened, one of our clients, we teach the whole family. They were like, we actually have this basement. Do you guys want to come see it? And Danny and I were like, yeah, we'll leave. And we just went and looked at it. And that weekend, Danny and us, I had like a 2-month.
We went to Charleston for a training.
Oh yeah, we had to go.
We-
another training.
I naturally got a flat tire the day that we left the workout. So I'm dealing with the flat tire. They go and look at the space. We meet, drive to Charleston for training. And like while we're in Charleston for training, Danny cleared out the basement for us to move in. We had like not even a week downtime and before we were up and running.
It was insane.
And
I don't
this
think
is
we'll
just
remember
a
it.
random, or like just a guy's basement.
No, so they
In a
own
building.
a
Oh,
building.
it's like commercial. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
it's
someone's
our,
house.
our clients. Like we
Oh.
love
It's like,
them.
I got a
We train the whole
basement.
family. It's the,
I have a basement.
yeah, no. It's on Divine Street, and we really, again, didn't really want to necessarily be on Divine Street, but it just worked, and we moved down there, and we hung painters cloths, and it looked really cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And then the micros were never something we were going to do, the microformers. And then so many people wanted to come work out with us,
Right.
which was such a blessing. And we were like, all right, let's order a bunch of micros. Legree actually offers to do this rental process while you're waiting for your machine. So we looked into that. And then we were like, let's just buy a bunch of micros,
Yeah.
take them on the road. We took them to Tastiest Fit. We took them to Craft and Draft. We've taken them to Copeland's.
Yeah.
We did a pop-up with Jamie Scott. We did a pop-up with Cody, who owns Train House, Robert Simmons. So we
Nice.
traveled. We tried to like link. I mean, we like circling back to friendships in fitness at other gyms. Like we are really close with a lot of the other trainers in town. And a lot of them were very much willing to like,
Just open to
Do
doing that
these
stuff.
events.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice.
because a lot of people train at both places. They
Yeah.
want to get a little bit of everything.
And it does. Legree complements everything so well. Like when I started practicing Legree, my running got better, my cycling got better. If you do like HIIT training or if you do strength training, it's going to get better because your
Yep.
core canister gets stronger.
Yeah, it's a great and I really look at the city as there's so many people that need to work out. It's not like we don't need more fitness studios.
Yeah,
we probably
it's
need
better
10,
than like a bar, right?
right. We probably need 10 times the amount that we have, and we need people who aren't working out to find their place that they love and
Yeah,
go work out there
yeah.
too.
I want to hear more
Absolutely.
about this opening though. So you guys, neither one of you have owned a business prior to this decision, right?
No, my husband's family owned a mortgage company for a long time.
Oh, so
they
nice.
just
So,
sold it actually, and that was all going on while we were opening, and we couldn't tell anybody about that.
Gotcha.
More secrets.
Yeah. Secrets.
Your hair's it's like the Mean Girls quote, your hair's
My
full of
hair,
secrets.
That's why I never wash it.
So you guys get this on paper. You decide like so when did you end up at the space you're at now? Was that ever
December
in the works?
27th.
But was
Yeah.
that a thing before you
Yes.
guys decided?
Yes.
Oh,
so
it was.
we,
Okay.
yeah, that was like the first plan because I was like, if I'm going to do this with 2 tiny children, it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that space was so cool. We were watching it get built.
Yes. That's my bank right there. Or our bank.
Yeah.
I
South
love
State,
that.
yeah.
So yeah, tell us more about that real estate there. Like how did you guys lock that in and what do you see? Like what, or do you have neighbors or anything yet?
Not yet. Kaysen
Besides-
Development is above us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Kristen Kaysen goes to Lily, and that's Frank's wife. And so-
Sutton Satcher, who used to work with us, now lives in Greenville. Her mom is one of my clients, but she works for Frank.
Okay.
And we used to work with her. So she also was a massive help in kind of
so
solidifying
they were,
that.
as they were building that, you guys kind of knew here's what we want. And then,
yeah. And we looked all around too. We
Yeah.
knew we wanted to be in Forest Acres.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great spot. How's parking?
So there's a little over 40 spots, and we don't have an issue with it right now. And I know that Kaysen Development has a good relationship with South State and Move. So I'm really
Right.
not, I mean, there's not much worry about it at all.
Yeah.
Any other things that you ran up against while you were opening that, and or now looking back, you're like, holy crap. Because there are people that, like you two, that are instructors at a gym right now that are like, I want to open up a studio. What are some of the things that you would tell them or things to consider, things that now looking back that you are like, wow, we didn't
Never
know that.
announce a date.
Yeah.
Never announce its start
I
date.
mean, you just don't say any dates. You
Yeah.
just say like,
coming soon.
it's coming soon, you know? I think one time we told, a month date. And then after that, we were done. Because
Yeah.
it's just
Keeps
all going to
getting
take long.
delayed and
Yeah,
delayed.
it gets
Especially
takes
if you're
longer.
doing, the building that we're in now, we did the build out for that, which not everybody has to go through that process, but that is that was an intense
Right.
process that I don't think we were mentally prepared for, like us two. Also, I think being in the dungeon, we were in the dungeon for about 6 months. That helped us tremendously get out a lot of, like, we were able to post our website while we were there, get our app situated. So we had a lot of stuff
Work out
under
the
our
kinks.
belt before we opened the big fancy
Yeah.
doors of Brentwood.
It was such a nice stepping stone. Like
Yeah.
everything kind of happened gradually, which was so nice. It allowed us to really adjust and get used to it.
Right.
But then when we opened the doors at Brentwood, I mean, it was popping.
Yeah.
There was a guy, electrician in there, and he was like, "Aren't you guys a new business?" And I was like, "Yeah."
You're like, we're kind of a big deal.
It was like the third day we were open and there was classes going on. Our lights were delayed, so we had to we opened with not the lights that are in there now, and then they had to come back and put them in. So things like that were still happening. I mean, we
Yeah.
still have the big machines like just got put in. That was a big adjustment as well.
right.
But yeah, we were rolling classes and having people enter through the other door and just
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice testament to how hard you guys were hustling then, because
We really
see,
hustled.
we see in the chiropractic world. Well, when we opened this clinic, which was our third, we were building it, and it took 18 months. And I remember the builders telling us 6 months, 4 to 6 months, and we looked at each
They
other
are
because we've been
just
through it, and we're
long.
like
So
12
long.
to 18 months, and it was
Yeah.
actually 18 months. And then they told us the cost. We're like, probably double that, and
Yeah.
they're like, no, it's going to be 6 months in this cost. We're like, we know how this
were they
works.
right?
We were right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I thought you were
18
gonna
months and
surprise
double the
me and be
cost.
like,
No,
"That
it's
was
definitely
true."
never happened. But then also I've seen chiropractors who go open their clinics and they have no marketing. Like they think they're just going to put the sign up
Yeah.
and then people are just going to drive by and see the sign and be like, oh, I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you have to have relationship after relationship after relationship and your book's full even before you open. Because if you try to open and then build the relationships, it's really, really hard to
Yeah, you got to bring the
find
people
them.
with you.
for sure.
And you got to do that in a nice way that's not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
Right.
Well, I
or
like
or
the-
go find them. Like
Yeah.
there's also
Oh, we
tens
went
of
to we
thousands
set
of
up
people.
a tent at Divine Night Out.
Mhm.
Put it up there. We got
Yeah.
multiple
I remember
clients
that.
from
Yeah.
that.
I remember I
They
saw
were
you
there
guys
for
there too. Yeah.
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 Or
Pretty much
like Trader
any
Joe's,
event that
anywhere.
anybody would let us join in, we would be like, sure.
We have
we'll
a
be there.
tent. Can we bring our
Tonight.
tent?
We
Yeah.
did tailgates, Carolina football game tailgates. We'd
Oh,
set up the
yeah?
tent.
Oh, that's
Anybody,
smart.
anywhere that we could pop that tent up and just have the advertising, we would.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Smart.
And
And
I
would
like
you guys
the-
give out little things? Like
High
little
noons.
shots? I
Shots.
did. Good.
We would
Yeah.
always have a cooler full of high noons and fireball shots
And
and
water.
and water.
Have a couple of these and then sign right here. Yeah, I mean, I like that you guys said like the main piece of advice is being honest too. Just
Yeah.
because even in our space, like we sit down with our doctors and even just say like let's just talk about what your career plans are. What are your goals? Because if they do want to open up, we try to work towards that. But being like if and I imagine same in your space, like coming out of left field and being like, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow and I'm taking all these people would be a bad thing in the fitness space and in really any business
Yeah.
space.
Mhm.
Is there any other advice that you guys would give to fitness instructors or people that are considering opening up something, or any business people that work for somebody but kind of think that they want to do their own thing?
I mean, you just got to make sure you have a good business plan. And like, as much as you want to tell somebody as far in advance,
Yeah,
you also have to watch your own back. Like, we have families, we have lives, we have to
right.
take care of it. And it's not like we were like, oh, all these clients are coming. We hadn't told a single person, you
Right.
know? So just be true to yourself and do what's best for you in the most honest way,
Yep.
and drink lots of water.
And be like very prepared to
One
work
last thing, drink
the
lots of
hardest
water.
you've
You just
Yeah.
finish, whatever you don't know how to finish, you just drink lots of
Drink a lot of
water.
water.
Yeah, because you're going to work your ass off.
Yeah. No, truly, it is like, well, I'm sure y'all know this, but I think we were prepared for it to be pretty hard, but it is so many hours.
Mhm.
And someone has to be like very prepared to let this be their lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
this is our lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's
And
exactly it.
we're so lucky that we have each other.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys feel that way too. It would be really lonely to do this alone.
Yeah, I feel like he's lucky to have me. I don't know if I feel lucky.
Well, it was, but to speak to that, like my wife and I had our own practice in Canada for 8 years,
Mhm.
and it was great for the first 2 years. And then she started having, well, we started having kids, but she had
Yeah,
the kids
yeah.
and she stayed home. But it was really lonely just being in there
Yeah.
all by myself. And then when we decided that we were going to move here and partner up, everybody was like, why are you doing this? You have this great business. You're packed all the time, everything. And I was just like, I don't know. I'm kind of bored and lonely and I don't
People
really know
say
what
that
to
when
do.
you say you have a partner, they're like, be careful.
Yeah.
Which I have seen a lot of
Yeah,
partnerships go
I
sideways too.
I have too, but like, duh, we got an attorney, we got a
Right,
business, we got a
right.
business
That's
plan. Like
exactly
we're
it.
and,
Yeah.
and we're honest.
Mhm.
We're
Yeah.
honest.
We're honest.
Yeah, you got to be able to trust each other. I mean,
Yeah.
and that was one of my questions: is how has partnership been? Have you guys noticed any shift in your relationship, or even more so, like what's your rhythm of communication, meetings? What's all that look like behind the scenes?
Well, we recently went on a date because
Just the two of you.
that's like we were
Yeah.
telling you guys earlier. We were like, we never do anything that's not
Just for fun.
yeah, just for
Right.
fun like we used to.
Right.
So we tried to do that. My kids love Lily, so she gets to come too. I'll be like, please come see Betty. She
Yeah.
wants to see you.
Yeah.
Where'd you go on the date?
Halls.
The hall.
Oh,
wow,
nice.
You guys are fancy.
It was brunch.
Hall's mashed potatoes is my favorite food in Colombia.
Yeah, you go at lunch though, and it's not nearly as costly as dinner.
Right.
Do they still have mashed potatoes?
I
do.
think they do, yeah.
That's great.
But it
All right,
kind of
great.
works out our hours because I'll get there really early in the morning, and Lily does too. And then she has a big clump in the middle of the day where she leaves, and I do a lot of the like emails and making sure the studio, like supplying the studio with the 1 million things y'all know, paper towels,
Right.
toilet paper, like make sure everything's clean, organizing the help that we have come in, and our roles have just kind of fallen into
Mhm.
place. And if one of us
Yeah.
needs help, we just tell the other person. What do you say?
Yeah.
We have meetings once a week, but I mean, we have kind of constant communication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of an evolution that you continue to change and tweak things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even us still, like we're really working on the quarterly meetings and the yearly meetings and all the things because there's so many moving parts with multiple offices. And is that something that you guys envision going into creating more spaces or kind of just sticking with one?
Lily would be like, yes. It scares me so much to do another one. But her and Danny
Long
talk about it.
term, yes, we talk about the possibility
Yeah.
of not necessarily in Columbia, but potentially other
Oh, really?
cities. My family is scattered all around, so I definitely think that you can see the holes, especially for Legree in the market in lots of places. So not a 100%, but
Yeah.
definitely on the table.
Like
Yeah.
Northeast Columbia, there's
We
a
need
huge
some.
A
hole.
huge hole.
How long did
Market.
y'all go before you expanded?
When he moved down here in 2017, 18, we
Yeah.
bought another building like right away.
Okay.
So I opened this in 2010. So for 7 years, 8 years,
That's good.
just a single location. Yeah.
yeah. Our CPA is like, you need to get it down like 3
Yes.
years, run it really well.
Yep. Yep.
And then,
Yes.
That's good advice.
1 to 2 was pretty easy-ish, but then when we went to 3 was like the really like, oh, this all the blind spots kind of showed up at that point.
yeah. And I'm sure, I mean, I'm such a helicopter. I like to know, like, if I'm not at the studio for 24 hours, I'm like looking at the cameras, like zooming
Right.
in, seeing if there's dirt in the corner or something.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine having another place where I've got to release control.
I had a hard time. I had a hard time with that too, because
Yeah.
with 2 you can still kind of do it. You just have to
There's
Yeah.
work
two
more.
of you,
And
so
then-
at least
Yes.
one of you.
But
can
then
be
with
at one.
3,
No,
It-
it's like
it was-
children.
It
And
is.
someone asked me about the business the other day. They were like, would you do it again? Do you love it? And I'm like, it's kind of like kids. Like, you're like, I can't imagine my life without them. But sometimes I'm like, was I thinking?
Yeah.
Right. How much easier it'd be.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know the immense joy you're missing.
Right. That's
So
right.
it's just,
yeah.
I don't know.
And it gets easier every year too, which is the nice thing
That's
about
good to
kids
That's
know.
really-
and,
I
and,
love-
and businesses.
Music to my
Yeah.
ears.
But you normally start both at the same. The hard part about life is you often start both at the same time, which is
Yeah.
chaos.
I'm
and
telling
then
you,
it
I don't
gets
think
easier.
we'll remember this time of our lives. Like, we'll look back and be like, what happened? Even when we talk about the dungeon, I'm kind of like,
That seems like ages ago.
Well, I was gonna say you guys should really document some of the things that you've done already, just for your like future.
What do you mean document? Like write it down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like just
Photos,
timeline stuff,
videos.
photos. Start
Yeah.
piecing that together.
A lot
now.
of photos and videos.
We do. I
We
mean,
have an amazing instructor who does our social media.
yeah, she
and
does.
Good.
We like to document everything for
Yeah.
her.
Because
we, have
those
we have a lot of Google Docs too.
right. See, we
Yeah, we
just
don't
like
have
got onto Google. Like we weren't even doing that. Ours were like randomly in Microsoft Word documents. So this past year with my wife Megan, she's
Mhm.
cleaned up everything and got it digital. And
Yeah, we
It's been so
love
nice.
a Google
Google
Drive.
Docs going
Yeah.
from the beginning, and I would be like sweating if Hannah would send me a text, and I would be at the other studio, and I'm like, "Who's around me before I open?" It's like no one can see these like
The
secret,
secret Google Doc,
documents.
yeah. yeah. But yeah, even for your timeline, just to remember some, you
Mhm.
just forget some of
You
the
really
stuff
do.
you went through. It's pretty wild.
It is.
Or go.
You're at the studio pretty much at 5 a.m. every morning, which
Yeah.
means you pretty much have to go to
For-
bed at what time?
I'm in bed by 9.
Yeah,
9?
we both go to bed pretty much by 9.
Get up
How do
by
you watch your
4.
programs?
I get up at 4.
I don't watch any programs.
You don't watch
anymore.
programs?
Program is okay. My mother-in-law says program, and I'm always like,
It's
"What's a show?" It's a show. No, I used to read. I used to watch shows, but like, can't do
You're
it
done with
anymore.
that.
I did watch the morning show recently, but it took me like 3 months
Yeah.
to finish one season because I would fall asleep.
I don't know what the morning show is. Is it a
that
Netflix
Jennifer
documentary?
Aniston?
It's
Um,
Jennifer Aniston.
Apple
Yeah.
TV. Apple TV.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't really like read or watch shows anymore.
I fall asleep. I will watch something to have like background kind of declutter noise.
Yeah.
And I typically fall asleep on the couch.
We fall asleep all the time. Like Lily falls asleep when she gets. I got my eyebrows tattooed last week, and I was asleep. She was like, "I've never had anybody fall asleep while getting
My hair done.
face tattoo."
Fall asleep.
We're just always asleep. Yeah, so I would say we get up like between the hours of 4 and 5. We do try to give ourselves like one morning where we don't do that, and then she'll stay at the studio a lot later than me because I have 2 kids. So
Yeah.
I try to get home by 5,
Yeah.
and then if I'm having a good day, I can go home at like 3 or 4. But then I'll bring my kids to the studio to make sure that there's no dust
Everything's
bunnies,
right. Mhm.
which my little girl loves going there. But
Yeah.
and then we do have like a little break in the middle of the day. Like right now was a great time for y'all to ask us to come.
That's
here.
nice.
Yeah.
And what about your husband? Where does he fall in? Like, when is he like, hey, I want to hang out?
Yeah.
He comes to the studio too.
I'm like,
Hey, do you
I'm
mind
like
if we
me.
talk while you're cleaning dust bunnies?
I'll be like, come fold some towels with me.
He's
no,
we call him the janitor because
We do.
he is our janitor.
we
which
could have
is
never
great.
opened this without him. So when we opened the dungeon, his family's mortgage company was in transition of selling to their biggest competitor. And that was, I mean, I can't even imagine the weight he was carrying of knowing that
Right.
he was about to start working for someone else and that we're opening this business. And he was such a big part of it. And now he's not as big of a part of it. And I'll email and be like, hey, can you do this? And he'll be like, no, I can't.
I'm busy.
I have a job. And but he did when the megas when they got
You'll
delivered.
email him.
I do. I email him all
Yeah.
the time. I
That's
love
funny.
to send him an email. When the megas came though, he spent the whole weekend putting them together for
Oh,
us.
that sounds like a nightmare. I got some furniture for my outside, and it was insane putting it together.
You should call him. He did it. Don't really.
What's his number?
He put them together, and I came in to check on him, and I was like, "Dude, how did you figure this out?" Because we did the straps and the cables, and we YouTubed it, and they don't send instructions. It was like 2 guys and like
God.
They come
basketball
in
shorts
4
deliver them, and you're
They
like,
come in 4
"What?"
pieces, these huge pieces. The machines weigh 355 pounds put together.
Wow.
They came in 4 huge pieces. And yeah, Danny just like,
He just did it.
he
and
said, I've just put a lot of stuff together.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
How often's Danny on the reformer?
So we have megaformers, but he does get on the
Megaformer.
reformer sometimes. He takes
Oh,
privates with
that was
Julia.
sorry. You
Oh,
got,
sorry.
you got a
Yeah.
real
Very-
dirty look for saying that.
Pilates. I'm
You
like, we are
forgot
different.
Does he do it ever or no?
Yes,
he does.
he comes to the studio a lot.
Really?
He loves it.
Should he run a men's only class?
We would
He
love for
he
him to.
tried. Well, I want him to teach. I think he could do it.
Yeah.
He would have to go through the training though, but I think he could lead a room. I don't think he ever will. He says he won't, but he takes a private session with our instructor Julia once a week, and he was getting other guys to come. But he has found, and you guys could
Really?
chime in on this, that men are not as committed to group fitness as women.
No.
They're not. I mean, what do you guys do?
So I go to F45, so it is a group fitness
You take a class.
deal, but it hits a threshold where you go, I need some just moving heavier weights, if that makes sense.
100%.
You need
So you like need another gym to
you need something different to
Yes.
challenge yourself.
because there's just only so much that men will listen to. And then
Yeah.
they just got to have their own thing.
That's true. I get sick of being told what to do.
Yeah.
That is true.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just want someone to tell me what to do and me not make a decision. I just don't want to make a decision.
See,
That actually makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
That guys don't want to be told what to do.
So, but
You're the
it's
first
You
certainly-
one.
bossed
Y'all are the
around
first people to
all
ever say that.
day.
We're on. See, we're honest.
Yeah.
So you like it for a while, and then it's like, all right, what am
Yeah,
I
I
doing?
don't know.
talking
Then
to
maybe
me.
I gotta be the
maybe they
boss.
wouldn't love our studio. You are
we
really told what to
do
do.
have, yeah, you are. You remember first, last name.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Called
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
Plus, my core is so weak. I would just.
Oh, yeah,
Then you
you're
need
embarrassed.
it.
Yeah.
Core
It's
It's so
stability.
bad.
You
I
need
know.
it.
I do need it.
But I think that's why class passes are important. If you like something, I strength train once a week. I teach cycle once a week.
Yeah.
I would love to do Legree every single day of the week, but with our schedule, I mean, I probably do it 3 or 4 times a week.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. What's the red? So, what do you recommend people do? Just is it a like? Should there be time in between?
I mean, I think it's great for
Certain
everybody
or-
to have a rest day.
Yeah. I think if Legree is your main source of fitness, you could do it, 4, 5, 6 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing other things, it just kind of depends. But you don't need to do like 2 Legree classes a day.
Mm-mm.
If you are the type of person that likes to do like multiple
Yeah.
classes a day or need,
Are there
Like
people
an-
doing multiples a day?
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
But we also offer
yoga and
infrared
Pilates.
Oh,
hot mat Pilates and hot yoga. And like on Sundays, we have a yen class. It fills up so fast.
Yen. Is
Yeah.
that the like relaxation one?
It
Yeah, you're
is.
like holding the poses for 5 minutes. You're getting really into this hip openers. Yeah.
Mhm.
When I was going to Orange Theory during COVID, because it was the only place that I could go that didn't make me wear a mask,
Yeah.
and they really didn't even make me like even when you just walk in, then you know how it was always those 4 steps when you walk in the door
Like
into the
mask
studio,
on.
you have to have it on, and then you have to take it off as soon as you sit down. But then when you stand up, it's 2 steps to the treadmill, put it on, and then you can take it
Oh
off.
my gosh.
Like
oh
they
my God,
didn't
that's
they didn't
over.
really make you go through all that stuff. So I was
Yeah.
like trying to join gyms and quitting, and like I just found them and they were just cool. So I went there, and I went twice a week, every week for years. But my body, I've said this before, my body started looking like my wife's body.
And it
Heard
still
you say
does.
that.
It still
and
does.
no, it doesn't anymore. For anyone that's not watching, it does not
never
anymore.
recovered.
But there was times when I would just look and be like, oh, my arms don't look good.
You wanted
my
to be like
leg-
bigger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be trim. I wanted to be
Yeah.
wide.
So if
Yeah.
you were doing like weight strength training, like 2 to 3 times a week, you could supplement Legree 2 days.
That's what I have to
And that
figure out
would
is
add-
the combo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would add in like a really good amount of, because it does stretch while you're working. So I used to lift a lot more weights and I would only do Legree a couple of times and weightlift. And I did notice like a shift in my body towards more of the strength built than like the lean and tone.
Yeah.
So I think if you're looking for more of that like built muscle tone, if you lift weights a couple of times a week, doing Legree will help more with just core strength and mobility and will probably allow you to strengthen your stabilizers to then be able to lift heavier.
Yes. And not get injured, which
Mhm.
is big at my age of 30. and
50.
I did.
Oh.
and my core, but so Orange Theory though, my core was the strongest it's ever been, looked the best it's ever been, but I just couldn't. It was so much cardio that I just couldn't keep weight on anywhere else.
Yeah. Because you're not doing, your heart rate elevates with Legree, but it is not, you're not running, you're not rowing. Like it is strength training. It's just you're moving so slow that your heart rate builds up. And so you are getting a boost. Like my heart rate can get to like 170. You transition very fast between exercises. That's like one of the main points as well, as you move slow in the movement, you transition fast, you get like a peak in heart rate.
Yep.
That's where like the cardiovascular aspect comes into play a lot. So it's not the same as like running. You're still strength training. It's just elevating your heart rate.
Yeah. So I want to talk instructors. How do you guys find instructors? Like, what's the process? Anything in your have you guys done like interviews? And are they mostly independent contractors? Is that how the whole system works?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a few girls who are like do this for their full-time income. All of our instructors so far have come to us. We do require that you have, if you're going to teach Pilates, you have to be trained,
Certified.
certified, yeah. And then same with yoga and obviously with Legree. If you are not certified in Legree, we can give you the point of contact to do that. And then we have a process that we slowly built, but we do like a little teacher training workshop on what makes a good instructor. They have a certain number of observation hours, a certain number of practice teaching hours, and then they have to teach 3 to 5 community classes. Those are unpaid, and they are $5 to anybody who wants to come. It's a good way to get new people in. It's also a good way for the instructor to get some practice. Mhm.
Nice. So do you have them sign a non-compete, or how does it work with
No.
like
No,
secrets?
if you don't want to work with us,
Then you don't have to.
then you don't have to.
You're not
What?
giving them any secrets then.
Well, we also
guess-
don't hold in-house training. So you're getting certified on your time, you're paying for
Right.
it. If you want to do that somewhere else, we are the only like fully Legree certified studio. So if you're going to take that somewhere else, you're probably not going to get everything out of it that you've just invested your own money and time into.
Right.
No one
And that's
can.
fine, but no one can make you like if you don't want to be working with us, that's fine. Go work
Or if
where
you want to
feel
work at 2 places.
Yeah,
I
that's
do
also
think
fine.
though that
Like how does for example, if they're working out at your place and then they're like, well, I got a class over here at the workout, you don't want them really pulling people that way, do you?
right. We just haven't run into that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be allowed to happen on the other end either.
Right.
You know,
Right. Well, that's what I didn't.
What are they
I
going to
didn't
say?
know.
No.
But we have multiple
No,
like
don't bring those clients over here.
Or like-
absolutely not. All
No,
those clients that you're
I
bringing.
No.
I think that our instructors offer something that you cannot mimic or take with you. You know what I mean? In our space, like what we offer in our space cannot be stolen. It can't be mimicked. You can't do it anywhere else. You walk into our studio and it is obvious the instructors know what they're talking about. They will
Gotcha.
say the tiniest things that make the Legree workout, the Pilates workout, whatever it is, significantly harder. They know the body, they know anatomy, they know the client, and they create an environment that you cannot mimic or steal.
But these people wouldn't be like, hey, come to my house and just pay me
we
direct.
do have some
that
instructors that
equipment
teach at their
is
house.
so expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some Pilates instructors who teach, but like they're very open and that's fine because
Okay.
she already had that business
Yeah, yeah.
and just wanted to supplement and we needed an instructor to help with some mat Pilates classes and she's classically trained and so it works and she is amazing. But our Legree instructors, like that equipment is so expensive, it takes so long and we're pretty open with them. Like if you want to do something else, just be honest with us and we will be happy for you. But you can't, I mean, it took us 14 months to get those Evos. So you're going to
Right.
be waiting a substantial
Yeah.
amount of time and they're huge. So unless you have like a full spare room,
Right. I gotcha.
it's not going to be the easiest thing
Yeah.
to just put into your house.
Several of our Pilates instructors teach at other places,
Mhm.
and we've just said if you meet someone at our studio, be
Keep it
honest.
at our studio.
Don't just keep it at
Yeah,
our
yeah.
studio. And I think it also goes back to treating your people well.
Yeah.
Your instructors are happy.
Mhm.
They're paid, and you acknowledge when they're doing well and give them
Yeah.
compensation for that.
Nice. If we wanted to do the immersion, like, do you have to?
The yoga immersion.
Yeah. do
Megan's
you-
not going to let you
No,
go do
she's-
that.
I'm trying to figure out how we can get that to happen.
Well, we could do 1 week
Could you?
every
But
few months.
like,
It's
do
not the
people
same.
fail? Like,
Not
do
the same.
people
Not
like what
pass?
if you? Yeah. What if
Yeah.
you don't want?
Yeah.
What if you don't even want the certificate? You're just like, I want
There
a
are a
3
lot of
week.
people that I had a
Mhm.
lot of people in my group. They were like one woman was going through a divorce. One woman probably wanted to be divorced and was
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a lot of people are just doing it.
just to be on a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people do that. We have clients at our studio who have done the Legree training that are just doing it to know more
More.
about it. They don't
Right.
necessarily want to teach.
That way, then you don't have to write any papers or do any of that stuff. Like if you went to the immersion, you just were like, I'm just here to hang out. For,
Don't ask me to take
There
a
was
test.
a
Yeah, I'm not doing
girl
testing.
in my training who did have the intentions of teaching and went through like one of our first main teaching projects and
Yeah.
just like couldn't do it. Like she just froze up and she was like, I'm clearly not made to do this. I'm going to finish doing the training and like stay here because I'm enjoying it. But like I will, and she didn't teach one time.
That just like made me feel, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like nervous. They were nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Vulnerable.
stifling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, people find that out. And then people who have no intentions of teaching decide at the end of it, like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
actually like pretty good at this, and or it fulfills me in some capacity, and I'm gonna move forward and try to teach somewhere.
But it sounds like what you want to do is more of
Like,
like,
a vacation,
What is it? That,
a yoga workshop,
a
a retreat.
retreat.
A retreat.
That's what you need to do. We want to go on one too. So
Yeah.
We'll plan one and
All right.
invite y'all.
Yes.
Costa Rica is
Costa Rica?
probably
Yeah.
the place.
Sure.
Yeah.
what did I say when we were? I was like Cancun.
Are
Like
people,
Cancun
clubbing
would
at
work.
night,
Yeah.
yoga during the day.
I watched too much of Laguna Beach as a kid.
So what's in the future then? In the next 6 to 12 months, do you guys have any big events that you're doing?
Any new
anything
merch
that you want to
dropping?
announce?
New merch.
New merch.
We do have some, ideally, I don't know when we're getting it, but our first little negative Nancy on our Instagram page, our senior master trainer that's out in California, like got involved on this little debate on one of our reels and
Oh,
asked
really?
the woman finally, like, do you even agree? So
This woman was like, "There's no way that what that person is doing is
Correct.
hard."
Like, that's
she's
not
like,
hard.
Why is she shaking? My 90-year-old grandmother could do that. And we were like, "Whoa, this is a local Instagram."
we were just like,
That's
"You're
what you want
welcome
though. That hypes it
to
I
up.
come
know,
in,
no such
like,
thing as
bring
bad
her.
publicity.
Come and try it."
Secret. We're finding out now it was Hannah from another page just stirring up
It was
some
me,
heat.
yeah. You know, I like to drop a comment.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Should we say? It was Wendy.
Yeah. So we wanted shirts to be made that said,
Not
Don't be-
with her
don't be a
name.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Just saying, do you agree?
"Do you agree?"
That's our, like, ideally
Do
the
you
next
agree?
wave of retail.
But we're
Nice.
gonna have a big event where we have stuff in the parking lot,
Classes
Evo
going
classes, mat classes, put the micros out in the back.
Cocktails.
Always.
She
Hors
wants a
d'oeuvres.
champagne.
I want to do
wall.
a champagne wall. I've had this vision.
Yeah. Nice. I like because the casing group, don't they have like an outdoor bar up top, or what is the
It's like
There's
a
roof?
terrace.
It is a terrace. It's really nice. We've done photo shoots out there.
Have you?
And they have a lot of, hopefully a lot of, I don't know the latest interest yet, but there's supposed to be a rooftop bar and restaurant.
That's cool.
So if you are in the market,
Go check it out.
and
So
this,
you
we
want-
need to put this on here. If you see our parking lot from like
Mhm.
5:30 in the morning until 8,
Don't let it
9:30,
scare you.
No, don't let it scare you. It should entice you to open a coffee shop because I mean,
Oh, right in that space, you're
I
saying
wish I had the
Yes.
energy to do it.
right
They would just
Big bang.
kill it.
murder.
Mhm.
Like coffee sandwiches,
Maybe we'll do that.
please,
You could.
Is there a little spot that's
There is right next to us.
right next to us.
will they sell it or do you have to lease it?
Yeah, to
think?
lease
You have
it.
to lease it.
Mm,
I know. You know, come from a family of mortgage people.
right.
My husband likes to own things.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You guys should talk to the Studio Fire crew because they have that restaurant kind
Wilco.
of in
Mhm.
Yeah.
the same.
I don't
area.
want to run it though. Not
Right.
for me.
Their
Yeah.
space like had that extra space for them. I'm not sure how they went about like joining them, but they had a little more space than we do.
You guys-
Yeah.
How many? Yeah, how many
Fair.
square feet is it?
Ours is like ours or theirs.
Yours.
25.
Yeah, a little over 2,000.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
big.
Originally, we thought we needed 1,500. Now we're like,
Busting from the
Busting.
ceiling.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
a
guys
good
have an
feeling.
office space there?
no,
No, the
No
front
office
desk.
space.
no, I know.
How many bathrooms?
Two.
Any showers?
Yes. And it's
Nice.
nice. I
That was
take
important.
a lot of time. Like people go into our bathrooms and like, it is so nice in
All
here.
right. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big thing for us. We also wanted our space to be welcoming to guys, and a lot of men need to like work out and go straight to work.
Yeah.
So ideally our hope is to have more men come into the
Yeah.
classes and take advantage of being able to go like either straight there from work or straight to work.
Now, are you saying that women don't have to go to work?
They do have to go to work, but
We have a lot
they
of
don't
people.
get us.
We have a lot
they
of
don't
people
get
in
us
the shower.
sweaty.
Yeah.
That was good.
Remember, we don't wash our
That was
hair as
true.
often.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I just go in there and blow dry mine.
yeah.
You know?
It's good to know that.
Sweaty?
I mean,
You blow dry and sweaty?
Yeah, you missed
That
that,
w- you
conversation.
missed-
so we have
Oh,
a
you
lot of
missed it.
hairdressers
I
in the
learned something
studio.
today.
Yeah. You are, if you get really sweaty as a female, you don't have
Yeah.
orange hair. And you just blow dry the sweat, and then your head doesn't itch, your hair still, your blowout lasts longer.
Just don't wash it. Just blow dry it.
Mhm.
Interesting.
You could try that.
Yeah,
Next time.
I'll give that a shot.
Do you
So
put any
we-
product in, like a dry shampoo or anything like that?
So we have some in the bathroom, but Lily and I just kind of roll with
I
dirty
try to
hair.
not use dry shampoo if I don't have to.
Who would be the guy, like the main guy private trainer?
Do you guys have any guys that are instructors?
We do have one. His name is
Oh.
Dre. He teaches yoga.
Dre?
Dre.
Very flexible.
Shout
he-
out Dre.
He is awesome.
He's phenomenal.
He's a phenomenal
Very
yoga
flexible?
instructor.
How is he in his mid 50s?
No,
No.
he's younger. He moved here from New York.
Mhm.
He used to teach at Y7 and he taught for the Lululemon Mirror. And he came and he was like, I just really like y'all's studio. Can I audition? And we were like,
Absolutely.
duh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Come take his class.
And that's so let's talk real quick as we're closing here. What are all the different classes? What are the time slots? All
Yeah,
that good stuff.
packages,
Oh, gosh.
memberships.
We just changed it for April
April
because
schedule bumped it
it's,
up.
I mean, it's insane now.
We have like almost twice as many classes as we did in March,
Wow.
February. We have class ready. Monday through Friday, we have a 5:15, 6:15, 7:15, 8:15 a.m. All agree. Sprinkled in there, we have some mat Pilates at 5:30 a.m., 7:30 a.m.
Separate room.
separate room.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a few hot yoga classes, 5:30 in the morning, twice a week. And then moving in, we have a 2 mat Pilates, 10:30 a.m. during the week. We have an 11:15 express Legree class, which is 30 minutes every day of the week. We have 2 small group reformer classes at noon, a handful of noon Legree classes, and then we move into the evening. We have some 4:15, 5:15, 6:15 Legree, and then
Wow.
6 p.m. yoga.
Yeah. And then we're open on
And then
Saturdays
we're also open
and
Saturday
Sundays.
and Sunday. We
Both
have
days.
We
Mhm.
have 3 Legree classes on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 yoga on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Dang, they're not messing around here.
Yeah, that's
No.
nice.
Well, y'all, you got to think about with the Legree classes, there are 10 machines. That's 10 spots.
Right. That's a good.
So
point.
they go. We launch our classes on Sundays at 5 p.m.
People have alarms set. Someone
Yeah.
told us recently it was like trying to get a ticket to the Eras tour. I was like, I think that's maybe the nicest compliment, but also like intimidating.
Yeah, for us, it's like great. It's a great problem, but it's also a problem.
is a
you
problem.
yeah.
know?
Yeah. How far out can somebody book? They
1
it's-
week.
Just 1
oh,
week.
really?
Mhm.
7 days.
So you got to
So
know your week, what's
classes-
going on.
Yeah. You can
Wow.
look ahead and people will like look ahead and mental note what they want to take. And then Sunday at 5, alarms go off. People book for the week. You can book that Tuesday through to the following Monday.
No kidding.
Mhm.
And you can book there's unlimited
Only-
passes probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, we
So
have
those people
unlimited
come once or
membership.
twice. So some people are coming once or twice a day,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah, they'll take, I mean, the way Lily's done the schedule is like there will be a Legree class with a yoga class right after, and people love to pair that together.
Yeah.
Same with like take a mat Pilates and then hop on the Legree Evo. And
You should upcharge somebody or make it a thing to like reserve their spot
Oh,
for
that
a
is-
year or something.
Oh, for
or
a
for
year.
a month or for
Oh.
multi-month. Like this is the Tom Stetson Mega
Machine.
Reformer.
oh my gosh.
Or what
You
is-
think that would form some resentment amongst
I
the
don't
client?
know. Because I'd make a plaque.
You
I'd
can
say-
pay an extra.
I might not even
But that's
show
how
up.
it
I
is
wouldn't even
at,
show up.
There's a studio in New
It's
York
just
that
like an
does that.
entire requirement.
Really?
Oh, sorry, that doesn't work.
You pay an extra fee to move up on the wait list. Isn't that an Army? Yeah, it is.
Maybe
Yeah.
we do pick a spot now. We changed that recently,
You
because
reserve your machine.
yeah, you reserve your machine when you're taking a Legree class because we have
Gotcha.
set number of machines, and we were finding a lot of the instructors that maybe aren't there as frequently as we are. There's like a ton of new people coming in, which is amazing. But it was harder to learn people's names. And so now you do
Right.
pick your machine when you book a Legree class. And the hope is that we can all like place faces with names.
And
like to give
know, like
personal-
this person's had
Yeah.
3 classes, or this person's about to have a baby. You know,
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
to know that stuff
Good. Put some notes
Yeah.
and stuff in there.
for sure.
Mhm.
What should people wear? Like, what's the ideal attire for this?
Well,
Athletic clothes.
yeah, you want and you want to wear. I mean, we're not. This isn't forced, but like if you want to watch your form, you should wear some
Something
fitted
tight.
clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to wear sticky socks.
I just had a quick visual of Randall.
Yeah. I
like
mean,
a onesie.
and sticky
No,
socks
no.
are
Exactly.
required.
Tank top, and just
Yeah.
tights.
No, you
Yeah.
guys don't do barefoot.
No.
Gotta have
Germs and
socks.
Gotta have
liability.
socks.
Nice.
That machine gets sweaty, like
Yeah.
sweaty. And if your foot gets on that sweat and
Right.
slips,
I like that.
that's not gonna be
I
fun.
appreciate that.
hmm
Okay.
You don't want to be on a germy.
You can be
machine.
barefoot for the yoga
No.
classes in the yoga room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Feet gross me out. I've always thought that any like I hear people having
Barefoot
foot
student.
fetishes, and I'm like, it's so
What?
gross.
That is
Gross.
weird.
Not at our studio.
No,
Sticky
no,
socks.
no. Just cover those
And
feet
we
up.
sell
Don't worry
men's
about it.
sticky socks as
Mhm.
well.
Really?
Do you?
Yeah, not
We
just
do.
women's. Yeah.
What's the cancellation policy?
Oh, it's pretty tight.
We have a
Oh, boy.
12-hour. Okay, so part of the reason we did the booking system, how we did it, we release 1 week at a time. So that ideally you're booking with intention. And unless obviously some things happen, schedules change, but the hope was we would not have as many late canceled no shows. The late cancel policy is 12 hours. It's $15 if you cancel within that time frame. No show is $29, which is the price of a drop-in. So if you are saving that spot and you do not show up and there's a wait list, it is sad for us in our
Yeah.
hearts. And also then other people are upset they couldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
And you claim that spot from them.
$29 is steep enough to make people want to show up, I would imagine.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's smart.
What if
Yeah.
what if someone does it all the time? They're like, I don't care. Have you had anyone just constant offenders and they're
Credit
like,
card on file.
$60, $90 a week. I'll just rack it up.
There's always a few
Yeah,
people
there's
that,
always.
yeah.
Yeah. And then what's your Instagram, websites, all the good stuff for the people to check you guys out? And I guess location. We touched on it, but like
Yeah.
let's give a better visual.
So we're right by South State Bank, Move Fitness, before Trader Joe's, at the
On
corner of
Forest Drive.
Brentwood and Forest Drive. Yeah. We just got our new signage put up. It's really nice. You can see it from the road. And our Instagram handle is level_cola. And our website is lvlfitness.net.
And do you guys have bios on there in case I want to read one?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
put it
the
on that
bios
little
are-
sheet you made me
Are
say.
there?
There are bios for every instructor.
All right, nice.
You can know all of their qualifications.
Certifications.
Yeah. And a little bit about them.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Thanks
You
for
guys
being.
going to send me your bios?
Yeah.
I need to read that.
Yeah, if anybody has bios, please submit them to the show. We're going to send Hannah.
So I can read them and figure out whether or not I want to come meet you.
Whether you're worthy. Thank goodness I was worthy.
I know.
I read your bio.
It worked out.
Hey, good to
It's
meet
a
you. I
good,
read your
it's a good
bio.
line. It's like a pickup line.
I know it is. Hey, but some people don't read instructors' bios. My
I know.
mother-in-law
I
told me,
wouldn't.
she was like, Hannah, you are so focused on people being well trained. She goes, Gen Pop doesn't care.
I'm in Gen Pop, I think, in
Disagree.
that.
I disagree. I'm
I
with
disagree.
you. I know everything about every instructor
Yeah, you
before I go
want to
there.
know before
Yeah.
you go. Do you look at the menu before you go to a restaurant?
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm a vibe person. I'm a feel person. I like to just go by the feel of like if I look at the picture, I'm like, yep, I'm ready for it. I don't even know if they could be not trained at all.
What a
No
glamorous,
idea.
No, I've
Yep.
had
happy life
too
you're
many
living.
injuries. I'm not going somewhere that's going to injure me
Yeah.
again.
Right.
Well, thanks for having us,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
that was
much.
great. Appreciate it.
Here
We're here for the health of it.
for the health of it.